Hi friends. So I was doing these little videos down at our studio with the help of some other people, but things are getting a little more serious. And so I'm going to film a bunch myself just from my house and hopefully give you some fun projects to do at home. For this little project, we're going to do an abstract design. Abstract means it doesn't have to look like anything. In fact, it probably shouldn't look like anything. That takes a lot of pressure off of trying to make it look like a person or an animal or a landscape. And all you're making are a combination of interesting shapes, colors, textures, and design. And there's all kinds of inspiration all around you right this very moment. So take your camera phone and just go hunting around your house. There's some specific things I'm looking for. I want some dark areas, some light areas, some medium value areas, and I want interesting shapes. I also like interesting texture. There's some simple areas and some complex. There's some nice dark, light, and medium values and an interesting texture. Combination of curvy lines and straight lines. You can gain some color from this too. I'll probably shoot that one as well. I like the way that the circles are repeated. In fact, just add one more. Here's the things you're looking for again. Dark, medium, and light values, big, medium, and small shapes, and a variety of colors, textures, and patterns. Something else I should mention is that when you're shooting photos, just looking for interesting design, abstract design, shoot a lot of photos. We live in this digital world now where it's really easy to delete things. And the more choices you have to begin with, the more the chance you're going to get something really interesting from those photos. So I'm going to go back to my scissors here and keep arranging them and shoot a whole bunch of options. And we'll see what we can make from that. Okay, for me this is usually the biggest challenge, getting the images on the computer and printing them off. And you just want to print them in black and white. So see if you can get some prints made. One thing I like to do is create a border before I even start, because that creates an automatic frame and makes your artwork look more professional. So you can use a ruler if you have one, or a stick, or whatever. So that gives me an automatic frame. I can also just do it this way. Okay. I used to work in a design studio, and we had a really great gadget. It was called a light box, and you would put your picture on it, whatever you were wanting to trace around, and the light would show through it and make it easier. At home we don't have a light box typically, but you have one in your window. You're going to need maybe some tape for this. I'm going to take my image of the scissors and just put that on the window. Okay, so I've got my image taped onto the window. I'm going to take one of these that has the border on it, and if you hold that up there, I don't know if you can see that, but I can see through to my drawing, and I can turn this any way I want. If I like the composition, I can keep it that way. I think I'm going to turn it a little bit, and then I'm just going to trace around some of these shapes that happen. And what I'm doing, I don't really like the word coloring book, but I am making my own design page. And if you want to leave something out, you can. If there's a part you don't like, then change it. You are the artist now, you're the designer. You can make it however you want to make it. I have some big shapes. There's a great big shape, that big star shape. some medium shapes, and I also have some small shapes. We're gonna make one more now, and we're gonna use 2 images. So I'm gonna set up my camera and we'll do that. Yeah. You might see my chickens out the window there. If you don't have chickens, they're a lot of fun. And they give you a present every day, some eggs. All right, I took the little drawing, I had a picture of my wife and I, and these circles looking down on these candles. I kind of like the composition of that. It has a pretty big void right here. And I have another picture that I really like. And I was thinking I might use this somehow to kind of fill that void a little bit. There's something else you can do that's kind of interesting. Way before computers, we had to just figure stuff out with Xerox machines and copies. And on the light table, if you put it upside down, then you get the mirror image. So I think I'm going to do this one. I'm putting the copy upside down on the window, and I should still be able to see through it to get that image to fill here. And I'm going to use part from this. You don't even have to be real careful. This is just an abstract design. I'm just trying to get some interesting shapes. I do like some of the swirly pattern that was on that frame, so I'm going to use some of that. The thing about using these pictures from the other room was I'm getting a design that I never would have thought of on my own. And I think I want to move that down just a little. Like, you can move stuff around, change it. There's really no right or wrong to this. Too many people are worried about getting it perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. That's a unicorn. You spend your whole life chasing perfect and you'll never find it. So don't even bother. Just make it something interesting. Now I'm going to come over here to my other shape that I kind of liked. This really ornate light fixture. And I can move it all around under there. I don't know if you can see it. It's not very bright outside today. It's kind of dull out there, so it's a little hard to see. On a bright day, this works even better. I'm going to see where else I might need something. This area is not as interesting as I had hoped, so maybe a curve from this. So there's my design. Pretty interesting. You can see that it no longer looks like a picture of my wife and I, but it gives me something really fun to make a design on. I think that's it for this segment. I just wanted to show you a whole new kind of really fun way to get an interesting design page. This one made out of the scissors is so different than this one made out of the other photographs. And I have some very interesting shapes in there that I'm very excited about. Now, in the next segment, I'm going to try a couple different ways to fill these in with textures and with values. So come on back and learn some about that.